Hello everybody, Big Mess here with How to Tie with your guide Shannon from Tuckasegee Fly Shop. Here in my Nor-vise fly tying system today, I have a Gamakatsu B10S stinger hook size 2. And the fly I'm going to be tying for you is a Murdich Minnow. And yeah, I'm tying something other than a dry fly or a nymph. So we're going to kind of go down that path there for you right quick. So I've already got my B10S here secured into my Nor-vise fly tying system. The thread I'm using today is white. You can use white. You can use your favorite white thread. You can use GSP. That's entirely up to you. But I'm going to go ahead and get my white thread started. And I'm going to spin my thread back here to about the hook point on this particular fly for our first material, which is going to be some white bucktail. So let me grab some white bucktail. As you can see here, it's a pretty good sized piece. So I want to come in here and get a little bit of these fibers for this particular tail on this particular pattern. And to be quite honest with you, really not something that I tie a whole lot of, but it's a very effective fly. It fishes really well on the Little Tennessee watershed and around on the Tuckasegee for some smallies. And we were using this fly the other day. Dale Cotton got me onto this particular pattern and said, well, let's just see, man. I'll just tie some up. And we did, and away we went. So the tail on this thing right here, what I like to do is use the body, the shank as a gauge. So I'm going to go one time, come up here and measure, and I want to go there. And it kind of really gets me like 2 hook shanks in length. Feel free to do what you want to do on it. But for me, it works out perfectly. As you can see, the hub of the Norvise system right there, it works out very, very well. So I kind of use that as a gauge on all the ones I've tied up there that I've got in my Montana Fly box, streamer box right there. So I'm just going to kind of get this tied in here right quick with some traditional wraps. Just get that secured. And I want to just reach in here, basically grab these materials and cut them out of the way and just trim them. I'm going to secure down these butt ends here right quick. Get that in there secured just like so she doesn't go nowhere. So just like that. So you can really lay down a lot of thread here real quick when you're tying. I know this is flared out a little bit, but so we really want it to kind of move some water in there. And that's kind of what's cool about this thing, okay? Kind of get a few wraps on there like so. So the next material I'm going to use, and I'm going to deviate away from the pattern just a little bit, because here at home versus at the shop, I'm missing a little bit. I'm going to take some Crystal Flash. This is the normal part of this fly. So I'm going to come in here in the Crystal Flash. We're going to tie that in, but we want it to extend just a little bit past the, kind of past the bucktail. So I'm going to tie this in here right quick. Well, actually, what I'm missing here at the house today is actually some of the Flashaboo. I have it. It's really big. It doesn't look that well when you tie it in. So I'm actually going to kind of skip that part, and I'm going to use more of this here right quick. So I'm going to tie that in like so, and I'm going to get a little bit more off of this right here. You can see this right here. I've got it in all different colors. I use it for a lot of different things. You can actually even make bodies out of this if you want to, with some small bugs. You can do that. It looks pretty cool. It looks really awesome. So I want to just cut me off a little bit of that there. I'm going to tie in this a little bit more, and then we're going to leave some exposed up top here, and we're going to fold that over. So it's a little bit different. If you guys are freaking out right now, I'm sorry, but just use what you got. I'm going to do that here right quick. Get that secured, and I want to cut this and leave it a little bit long so I can fold it back here in just a moment. So I want to get that there out of the way, okay? So real simple. The next material I'm going to use is from Hairline Dubbing, and this is going to be some angel or ice fur in white. Got this right here on the hank. So we're going to take some of this here material. I want to come in here and separate it out. Don't be intimidated by this stuff. I've kind of experimented different ways of actually adding this to the particular pattern. You folks may have some different ways that you want to do it. I've done it in a dubbing loop and got it all the way around. the hook itself, which worked out quite nicely, honestly. It gives a little bit different motion as you're, kind of, stripping that through the water, because it is kind of moving that water, kind of that effect that we're looking for right there. So that was actually pretty cool, to see. So I'm going to come up here to kind of where my tie-in point's going to be on this here right quick. And let's see, where do we want that? Let's kind of just place it right in here like so a little bit. And you'll see here on the other side in a moment kind of what we're trying to do. So get that started there right quick. Perfect. I'm going to come in here and trim this off. Then I'm going to go to the other side and do the same thing. Got it. So I'm going to take this, and you can see on the Nor-vise here, I can certainly move it and see where I'm at. Go back as long as you want with this right here. The idea is you're trying to displace some water, with this thing. So I want to come in here like that, capture it, get them pretty close right there to the same spot. I want to come in here, trim that off, keep that for some other flies, capture that right there, and then I'm going to fold that crystal flash back over the top, just like that, okay? That's where actually he had more of the Flashaboo material in that, but this here works fine. It looks really good in the water. It's all about the colors, okay? Do as much of that stuff as you want or as little of that as you want, okay? It's your fly. All right, so I'm going to lay down a pretty good base right here for my next material, which is quite simple. We're about done with this fly, surprisingly, already. Not a lot to it. But as you can see right here, man, I'm kind of building this up, trying to take care of that, a little bit of that spacing in there, which is fine, but I want it to kind of taper back anyway, so I'm not going to fret over it. It's not a big deal. But the next thing I'm going to use is going to be some chenille. It's Estaz, and this is kind of the pearl, as you can see in here. And I'm going to get me a little bit of tie-in point right here, so I'm going to pick out some of these fibers so I can get a good grip with my thread to get that tied in nice and securely. So I've exposed those two pieces of rope right there. Hope you guys can see that, and gals. I'm going to get that tied in right there. Come up here, really secure that in just like that. And then I'm just going to bring my thread up traditionally, because I'm actually going to keep this long. I keep my chenilles long. I try to maximize as much use out of them as I can. And certainly something that you might want to consider too, instead of cutting off like pieces of it and then you're throwing away, maybe a 2-inch strip that's not quite long enough for another fly. So something you folks might want to consider. Okay, now the beautiful thing about a Norvise is I can control my tension, which I've got it on a tight setting. And now I'm just going to continue to rotate this forward, holding this chenille, and then I can walk this forward, as you can see in here, right? And since the materials, I've kind of got it slanted forward, we're almost going to get a pretty nice shape that I'm looking for out of the front of this fly here. Maybe go 1-2 more wraps in there, and I think we're going to get pretty close. That's about it right there, okay? So I'm going to bring my thread back over using my auto bobbin. You can't do that with a traditional bobbin, folks, okay? Gotta have the Nor-vise one. That's what does it for you. So I've got in back, in front several times. Gonna come in here. I feel pretty confident about that. I'm gonna lift that up, away. Bam, got it cut. All right. Now, I'm just gonna pull everything back with my fingers and get a nice head on this fly. Just like that. We're almost done. It's actually a pretty easy one to tie. And a little bit out of my, I'd say, comfort zone, but it's an effective fly for sure. Ben Bergen, huge fan of these there, and you guys might have heard the podcast with Ben about the bass fishing in the area. So at this point here, I'm going to take my whip finisher. One. I'm wrapping back over top of that, as you can see. That way I'm covering my thread. There's 3 solid whip finishes on that right there. That's a good shape. I feel real confident about that. Reach in with my scissors. Whammo. Perfect. We're doing arts and crafts, folks. That's all we're doing is arts and crafts. All right. That's all fly tying is arts and crafts. Cool. Not a big deal. All right. Yeah, all right. Now, if you want to, what we're going to do next is we're going to take a marker. This one here is gray. It's kind of cool gray, maybe a little bit on the lighter side. But we're going to color the top of this fly here right quick, just to kind of give it that contrast that we're looking for. Just come in there and just kind of mark that bad boy up. So arts and crafts. I'm actually going to take this one back here just a little bit. It's not going to hurt it. Not a big deal, okay? It's your fly. Do what you want. So this is the Bob Ross coming out into me just a little bit. So if I want to put a happy little tree here, I will. I'm going to put a happy little mark, all right? Not a big deal, okay? It's your fly. Then you can tie these in all different colors. You can do it more like a rainbow type pattern if you want to, with a little bit of pink and green. That's entirely up to you, okay? So I want to kind of mark that up, as you can see in there, just like that. Don't get to do this on a lot of those dry flies that I'm messing with. So it has a nice little contrast. It's pretty cool in the water. Okay, boom. So I'm going to put the lid back on my marker, get that there out of the way. If you want to, you can kind of come in and shape some things up. That's entirely up to you. It's your fly. I mean, we can sit here and get anal with it all day long, but you know, it's all about fishing, right? Perfect. Close enough for horseshoes and hand grenades. See how that profile kind of leans that back? Then it's going to really disperse some water and get their attention. So the last thing we got to do on this right here is we're going to put some eyes on this. We're going to glue on some eyes. And for the adhesive, I'm using some Zap-A-Gap gel, of course, which we have at the shop. And I'm just going to I'm using some 6mm blue, silver, black eyes. You can do all different kinds if you want to. It's not that big of a deal. So use what eyes you want to. And if you don't want to put eyes on it, you don't have to either. I don't think it makes it better one way or the other, but I'm just going to do it because that's what the pattern calls for. So I want to take a little bit of this Zap-A-Gap gel. Be careful with this stuff here. Do not glue your fingers together. Kind of got that little spot right there, and you can see I'm having a little yada-da-da-do. I'm having a moment with it. That happens to no one. Said no one. So we're going to take our eye, and we're going to kind of come in to where we put that gel in there like that, close by. Trying to keep it just on kind of right in there. Perfect. Just like that. And then maybe just a smidge far back. Not a big deal. I want to come over to the other side. You know, it's funny because I just used this and had no issue with it. So there we go. Perfect. Now I want to take the other eye, come in here like so. Just going to kind of get it in there like that, get it placed. And that's all there is to it, folks. Just like that. That is a completed Murdich Minnow at that point in time right there. That will set up. She is good to go. Don't really want to compress that down, but there we go. We got us a Murdich Minnow. Effective fly here on our watersheds for smallies, and I know we're kind of ending up on the smallie season. We got out the other day and did some of that, but there we go. We got a Murdich right there. Pretty simple tie, especially on the Nor-vise fly tying system, because you can see as we can spin that thread on there like crazy. And as Dale, one of the shop owners, had mentioned on our podcast the other day, it's a really great thing that he's learned about this particular, while tying this fly and being intimidated by the device is, man, it's actually pretty easy to lay down a lot of thread, you know, on these, you know, these streamer patterns. If you want to comb it out, you know, feel free to do so. But that's an effective fly right there that you can put in your favorite streamer box and throw out there, and, you know, throw it on a 5-weight rod. It's no problem with this particular fly. If you want to monkey around with it, maybe add some weight, some things like that to make it kind of sit in the water a little wonky. That way, when you kind of strip it, it may kind of set like this. Then feel free to do so. Real simple tie, actually. Don't be intimidated by it. Not a lot of materials. But that's the Murdich Minnow. Appreciate you folks for watching How to Tie with your guide, Shannon Messer, otherwise known as Big Mess. Thank you, Jack. And reach out to us there to shop, 828-488-3333. Feel free to shoot me an email anytime at shannon@tuckflyshop.com. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And be sure to listen to the Tuckcast with a Splash of Bourbon on your favorite podcatcher platform as we are about to finish up season 1. Surprisingly, man, the time has gone by and it's been fun, and looking forward to a great guide season there at the shop here this fall in Western North Carolina. That's it, folks. I'm going to let you guys go, and we'll catch you on the next video. Y'all take care. Tight lines.